The sun rose every morning over the small village, painting the thatched roofs with golden light, while roosters announced a new day. In a modest but lively home lived two sisters, Amina and Jessica. They shared the same blood, but not the same fate. Amina, the eldest, had learned the harshness of life very early. At dawn, while the rest of the village still slept, she would quietly leave the house, carrying on her head an empty jar, heavier than herself. Her steps sank into the dusty path. Every drop of water she brought back became a treasure for her family. Her days were spent at the market, among the cries of vendors, the oppressive heat, and the scent of ripe fruit. She sold oranges, sometimes bananas, always with patience and a smile, even when her legs trembled with exhaustion. Jessica, the youngest, grew up in a very different world. Their mother cherished her with exaggerated tenderness. She spent her days sitting on the veranda, her hair carefully braided, her clothes clean and perfumed. She knew nothing of the pain of heavy buckets, nor of the humiliation of customers who bargained mercilessly, nor of the sweat sticking to the back under the sun. Their mother treated her like a fragile princess, convinced she deserved a prestigious future. Amina, go to the market. Jessica needs to rest. Amina, wash these clothes. Your little sister must preserve her hands. These phrases returned like a refrain, day after day. Amina obeyed without arguing, her heart tight, but her lips sealed. She still believed that kindness and hard work would eventually be rewarded, but in her darkest nights she wondered, why does mother's love escape me? What have I done to deserve this lack of affection? Thus was born the wound, small, invisible, but deep. A wound that, without knowing it, would one day feed the coming tragedy. Welcome to the channel. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Every subscription, every like, and every comment is a real encouragement and motivates me to keep sharing more amazing stories with you. The seasons passed. Amina, once a laborious little girl, became a young woman. Her beauty was not that of pampered princesses, but one forged by effort. A frank gaze, skin golden from the sun, a strong yet graceful figure. Her gestures, though simple, carried a natural elegance. At the market, among the fruit stalls, she caught the attention of a man from the city, David. He was a young, educated merchant, elegantly dressed with measured words. Unlike many, he did not see her as just a fruit seller. He noticed her patience, her sincere smile despite fatigue, and above all, the silent strength that surrounded her. Their encounters multiplied. Each trip to the market became his excuse to see her. Soon, his intentions were clear. Amina, you carry the beauty of the morning light, but it is your heart that draws me most. Will you be my wife? It felt like a dream. The wedding was celebrated with splendor. The drums echoed, dancers twirled to the rhythm of songs, women wore their finest pagnes. Amina, dressed in white, walked proudly, her emotional gaze fixed on David. She was no longer the invisible daughter of her mother. She had become the wife of a respected man, admired by the entire village. But in a corner of the courtyard, Jessica watched. Her eyes, usually sparkling, had become two dark flames. She is the one everyone celebrates today. She, who was always the servant, and I, the favored one, remain alone. It was the beginning of the jealousy that would consume her. Months went by. Jessica tried to find a husband, but her reputation preceded her. Arrogant, spoiled, impatient with work, suitors turned away one after another. She, the once pampered princess, found herself alone without resources, while Amina lived in abundance and love. One stormy night, soaked and desperate, Jessica knocked on her sister's door. "Big sister, I have nothing left. Please take me in." Amina, despite the wounds of the past, held her in her arms. "You will stay here. You are my sister, and my home will always be yours." David, though wary, also accepted. But in the shadows of her gratitude, Jessica began to nurture another plan. Jessica now lived in her sister's house. During the first days, she appeared docile, almost humble, but soon her eyes began to linger more and more often on David. She observed him when he returned from work, tired but dignified. She noticed the tender gestures he reserved for Amina, the delicacy with which he placed his hand on her shoulder, the way he listened to her speak as if every word carried weight. Jealousy transformed into desire. "Why her? Why not me?" she repeated to herself again and again. The little provocations began. "David, that shirt suits you so well. You are the kind of man any woman would dream of having." At first David ignored her, but Jessica did not stop. She let her glances linger, chose her clothing carefully, and spent more time near him than with her own sister. One night, while Amina slept deeply, Jessica went down to the living room. David was reading under the glow of a lamp. She sat close to him, wearing a light dress that revealed her shoulders. Silence settled, heavy and suffocating. "You know, David," she whispered, "sometimes I wonder if you realize how lucky you are. Many men would give their lives to have a woman like me." David turned his eyes away, troubled. That was enough. She moved her hand closer to his. He hesitated, resisted, then yielded. Their lips touched. A moment of weakness, a moment of betrayal. The bond was broken. In her bedroom, Amina slept peacefully, unaware that her home had just been tainted. The secret relationship between Jessica and David became a moral poison. But soon, Jessica wanted more. She no longer wanted to be the shadow, the hidden mistress. She wanted Amina's place. One market day, she slipped away into a dark alley. There, an old man sold vials of suspicious liquids. An invisible poison, deadly within hours, but undetectable. Jessica handed him a few coins and left with her vial. That evening, she took 3 oranges. With a needle, she pierced the skin and injected the poison. Her hands trembled, but her heart pounded with excitement. Then she went to her sister. "Here, big sister, I found these beautiful oranges. Just for you." Amina, touched by this unexpected gesture, smiled. She peeled the fruit and tasted a slice. Minutes later, she began to cough, to choke. "David, I feel sick." David rushed over, holding her in his arms. "Amina, stay with me, hold on." But already her lips were turning blue, her eyes clouding. With her last breath, she whispered, "I love you." Then her body collapsed. The house echoed with cries. David wept on the floor, holding his wife's lifeless form. Jessica, standing aside, placed a hand over her mouth to hide her smile. Amina's funeral was heart-wrenching. The entire village wept. But time passed, and Jessica knew how to manipulate David's grief. Slowly, she gained his trust, ensnared him, until she became his new wife. She bore children. She took the place she had always envied. But happiness did not come. David remained distant, cold. His eyes, even in Jessica's presence, seemed to search elsewhere, as if still seeing Amina in the shadows. Frustrated, Jessica hardened her heart. She ordered the servants to repeat the humiliating tasks Amina had endured just for her amusement. She told her children that their aunt had been nothing more than a servant, a worthless woman. But the nights were haunted. At first there were strange noises, footsteps in the corridor, whispers, oranges left on the table that by morning rotted as if they had spent weeks under the sun. Jessica's face began to pale with fear, yet she reassured herself, "It's just coincidence, only coincidence." She was wrong. On a night of full moon, the wind blew strangely strong over the cemetery. Leaves began to swirl, the earth to tremble. Then, in sudden silence, the soil of Amina's grave cracked open. A pale hand emerged from the ground. Then an entire body rose, clothed in rags, face ashen, but eyes glowing with a supernatural light. It was her. Amina had returned. Not as a living woman, but as a specter, a vengeful shadow. Her heavy steps echoed like death drums. She did not attack David, nor the children. She had only one target, Jessica. From that day on, Jessica's life became a nightmare. Every mirror reflected her sister's ghostly face. Every night she heard whispers, "You stole my life. You stole my love." She screamed, ran, but Amina followed her everywhere. Jessica no longer slept. Her eyes were hollow, her hair disheveled. She spoke to herself, banged her head against the walls, saw blood on her hands. The villagers whispered, "She is cursed. Amina's spirit haunts her." One night, in her room, Amina appeared before her, more real than ever, majestic and terrifying. "You took my life. Now I take yours." Jessica, trembling, fell to her knees. "Forgive me, big sister. I beg you. I regret it." But it was too late. Amina extended her icy hand. Jessica let out a terrible scream. Her eyes clouded over. She went blind. A few days later, consumed by madness, she died alone, abandoned by all. David, freed from the curse, rebuilt his life. He remarried a sincere woman, but never forgot Amina's face. The village long remembered this story. Mothers told their children that jealousy is a fire that first consumes the one who feeds it. They also said that a mother's injustice can create tragedies no grave can contain. And Amina's memory remained as a lesson. Even in death, faithful love and kindness always triumph over hatred. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed the content, I invite you to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the upcoming stories. A like and a supportive comment make a huge difference and truly motivate me to keep creating more. Your support is my greatest strength, so don't hesitate to share this with others as well. Together we can grow this community.